Tragedy can have a way of shaking us awake. Recently, we heard about the death of Charlie Kirk. It wasn't just a death, it was an assassination. It was tragic. And some of us watched it on our social feeds over and over again, and then watched as the whole world seems to come unglued over the whole thing. It shocked us. But death itself shouldn't surprise us. It's the one thing that none of us can escape. We're all going to die. The question isn't if it comes, it's what we leave behind when it does.
This is Manlihood, the podcast for men who want to rise up and live with purpose. With your host, Josh Hatcher, this show is here to help you level up as a husband, father, leader, and man, with real conversations and strategies to help you in every area of your life.
Gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Season 9 of Manlihood. I'm so glad that you guys have been tuning in over the years to help build Manlihood into something great. I hear all the time from guys that are really getting a lot out of what we create at Manlihood, and that means the world to me. I want you to get more out of it. So I put together a journal called Fight Like Hell, a journal for men who don't back down. And it's got a daily meditation and some daily journal prompts to help you build resilience, to help you build focus, to help you really move forward in your journey as a man. So you can get that on Amazon, and the links to it are in the show notes. Also, guys, check out Manlihood Plus. Manlihood Plus is where you're going to get bonus content that you're not going to see anywhere else. And we've got bonus questions with all the guests that we interview. We've got extra content that I'll create and put in there that you're only going to find there. It's really cheap. You can get it on YouTube or you can get it on Spotify. Whichever one you prefer, you can get access to that for a really affordable amount, and it's worth getting, guys. It's going to make a difference for you. The other thing that's coming soon, and it's not quite here yet, but it will be very soon, is I'm going to start doing some coaching. I want to help you grow in your faith. I want to help you grow in your relationships with your spouse. I want to help you dig deep into the stuff that's going on in your heart and make sense of it. That's what I want to. I'm going to help you do that. So stay tuned. More information on Manlihood coaching coming soon. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And I think that is the honest truth about life that we all need to really be aware of, and we need to really dig into, guys, is that it's short and you don't know how long it's going to be, and we waste so much of it on stuff that doesn't matter. I'm coming off of a season where I deleted all the social apps on my phone. I will probably put them back on eventually, but I found myself scrolling and wasting time. And so I just deleted it off. And I'm going to tell you what, so many things become more vivid and clear and real because I was escaping into nonsense that I didn't need to. But the point that we want to get to, guys, is that death comes for everybody. Rich, poor, strong, weak, influential, obscure, whoever you are, you're going to die. A lot of men waste years pretending that they have unlimited time. But you don't know when it's over. You don't know that right now. And I think that matters, especially as we look at, when Charlie Kirk woke up that morning and decided, I'm going to go and I'm going to have conversations with people, he didn't know that there was going to be somebody with a gun pointed at his neck. He had no clue. And now he's gone. And I'm not saying that we're as important or influential as somebody like Charlie Kirk, but you could be in a motorcycle crash. You could have your car blow up. You could die of carbon monoxide poisoning in your sleep. You could have a heart attack. You could be perfectly healthy, and out of nowhere, your heart just goes, and you're dead. It matters. It matters that we're aware of this, that we're aware of the fleeting nature of life, because if it's fleeting, and if it could end at any moment, we should live a certain way according to that. There's a verse in Scripture in Psalms 90, it's verse 12, that says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." So wisdom comes, and we all want to be wise, right? We want more knowledge, we want more wisdom. Wisdom comes, a heart of wisdom comes, if we learn to number our days. We learn to recognize that our days have a finiteness to them, and each one is important. Each day is important. So let me ask this question. What will outlive you? When I ask this, I always think about my father, and I know we've talked about him before on the show. He was a good man. Not a perfect man, and he would tell you that himself. But he was a good man, and when he died, we had to have his funeral at the fire hall. Packed it out, because we couldn't fit everybody in his house. We couldn't fit everybody at his church. There wasn't room. There were too many people in my father's life. Too many family members, too many people that he loved as though they were family. And when we did this funeral, it was filled with cashiers and bank tellers and waitresses and people old guys that he would go have coffee with in the morning. And he made a difference in their life. And they told stories, they told jokes, they told all of the things that my dad did for them. And like I said, they told stories of his generosity. He'd slip people $20 all the time if he knew it would help them. They told stories of his kindness and the things he would do just to be kind to them. And they told stories of also in that kindness that it was different than niceness. He wasn't always nice. And I say that because, he would go to the store and hang out in the morning and hang out with the old guys. They would drink coffee. They would talk their stuff. A lot of times he was actually helping those guys because some of those guys were veterans who were struggling with things, and he would just go and be there with them, just be a friend to them. And somebody comes into the little general store, and they're giving the cashiers a hard time. He's having a mental health episode, and he's all over the place, and it's clear that this guy has gone from being annoying to being a threat. So my dad, who was an old man at this point, walks up to him, grabs him gently by the arm, and twists it gently behind him, enough where there's enough pressure that you can steer a person, and he steered him out the door. He said, "Come on, let's take a walk." And he walks him out front, and he just stood out front with him and just listened and talked to this guy outside. He told the guy, "Look, you can't be doing what you're doing. You're not going in there today. You don't need anything else they have." And he just listened to him as the guy ranted and raved and was all over the place because he was having an episode. But Dad looked out for him. But he also physically removed him so that he didn't harm anybody. I say that because sometimes kindness is not niceness. He was firm. He could have taken the guy out. He was usually armed, and he would have done what he had to do to protect the people that he cared about. And even in doing so, he took care of a guy that was, while he was a threat, he was also vulnerable. And Dad took care of him, made sure he was safe, made sure he didn't hurt anybody. So that's just a story about the kind of guy that my father was, that we heard about him at his funeral. And this is the question that we have to ask. What will your children remember about you? About how you loved them or how you didn't? What will your friends and your wife remember about the way that you treated them? What will your community remember? Will they remember that you served them or that you took? Are you a giver or a taker in your community? Because a man's true wealth is in the impact that he leaves on people. Just like George Bailey. George Bailey in that movie, It's a Wonderful Life. You remember he got in trouble because his uncle lost some money, and the bank examiner was in town, and he was going to get in trouble. But George Bailey lived a life where he was always looking out for other people. He had sacrificed and given and looked after his community. And when the community found out he was in need, they all rallied together to take care of him, to look after him. And they knew that he mattered because he had invested in other people. That was his wealth. Shannon Alder said, "Carve your name on hearts, not tombstones. A legacy is etched into the minds of others and the stories they share about you." There are things that'll kill your legacy, though. Passivity. You're just waiting for someday, and that someday never comes. You're not taking action in your life. You're letting life happen to you. Passivity is even just the position of victimhood in a lot of ways. There's nothing I can do about it, and you just sit back and it just does its own thing. Is that you? Bitterness. It's where we carry grudges and hold things against someone instead of forgiving them. I don't want to die and have people think, well, you never worked it out with me. I don't want that. I want to work it out now. And if we can't work it out, I don't want to be held in the prison of holding it against you. I want to be free. Addiction and escape, that's a legacy killer. When you're numbing everything instead of engaging. I've been to a lot of funerals where the legacy that they left behind was, well, at least now he's finally at peace. It's not how we want to do it. Your legacy is not built by accident, but it's built by the choices you make every day. And we start with a small act that's intentional and that makes a difference today. Write somebody a note. Make a phone call. Show up in their life. Do it. Because that's where you're going to make a difference. Now, if we look at this from the perspective of faith, I believe that God created things. He created everything. He created you. He created life itself. And there's a purpose to that life. There's a purpose. God's purposes are eternal. This life is fleeting and short. And I want to know that the choices that I make in this life affect what happens in eternity. And the biggest choice is, what did I do with my relationship with Jesus Christ? Because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. We started this episode talking about Charlie Kirk, and that's what he would tell you. He said it all the time. So whether or not you agree with anything Charlie Kirk says, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you believe that there is a God, I think it's important to believe that he is good. And if he is good, he wants a relationship with you. And what I see as I look at the God that I know, that relationship is made possible because of the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I know. You might be just like, I don't need this faith stuff. That's fine. Hit that little fast forward button. But maybe, instead of just hitting it, just listen. Because maybe God is trying to get your attention today. Maybe God has something for you today. Maybe God wants you to enter into that relationship that he paid for with the blood of his son. Because he loves you and he cares about you. I know this. I don't want to spend eternity separated from him in hell. I want to spend eternity with him. And the cool thing about it is that's not just for eternity after I die. That is for now. That's for now. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's here. It's now. And I get to experience a richer, fuller life because of that relationship with Jesus. Let's go. Don't waste another minute. William James said, the greatest use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it. So guys, let's take a minute. Let's meditate. Let's have a reflection on the things we've talked about. So take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Now imagine that you're at your own funeral. What do you want your kids, your wife, your brothers to say about you? What words would you want carved into stone about the kind of man you were? God, help me live today in a way that matters. Help me to leave a legacy. Help me to have a relationship with you through your Son, Jesus. Guys, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast today. Please, if it means something to you, if it resonated with you, share it with somebody. Join in the conversation in the Manlihood Man Cave on Facebook. Let's make a difference. You don't have to leave behind a legacy that's tattered and got holes in it. Let's start today. Let's start today. As always, guys, I want you to know this, and I mean it when I say it. I love you, and I'm proud of you. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for being part of Manlihood. Now it's time for you to rise up and take action. Join the Manlihood Man Cave, our free Facebook group, and connect with the other men on the same journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share that episode with a friend. For more, visit manlihood.com.